The peace process between the FARC rebels and the Colombian government continues to advance in Havana, Cuba. Hundreds of the millions of victims of the armed conflict are hopeful about receiving reparations. Our correspondent Natalia Margarita now reports from Bogota.
Colombia's armed conflict have left over 6 million of victims. During the last 3 years, 500,000 of them have been assisted by the Unit for the Victims, an organism created back in 2012 when Colombia's government decided to start compensating victims.
Compensating the victims contributes to the construction of peace, which goes beyond just ending the conflict. However, there is no doubt that the end of the armed conflict will allow for much better conditions for the victims, for their freedom and protection.
Angela was 15 years old when she and her family had to flee their hometown due to threats on their lives by paramilitaries. While being currently compensated with a scholarship, Angela insists on the importance of the guarantees of non-repetition.
It is necessary to start implementing measures in order to safeguard those communities which haven't been affected, as well as those who have already been victimized.
Truth-seeking was at the center of a gathering in which international guests shared the victims' reparation experiences in their countries, and which in the case of El Salvador has been a very recent experience that starts with the recognition of the state responsibility.
There was an absolute unawareness and denial of state responsibility. Then in 2009, under the presidency of Mauricio Funes, he became the first head of state to publicly admit the responsibility of state bodies in human rights violations.
According to the victims, what is at stake with the recognition of responsibility by all actors involved in the conflict is the possibility of reconciliation in Colombia. Natalia Margarita, Telesur, Bogotá.